Picking a niche as a 3D freelancer changes nothing. I know that's a weird thing to say after the last video where I spent 6 minutes convincing you to pick one. But it's true. The decision itself is worth exactly €0. Because right now, if you picked furniture brands yesterday, your portfolio still looks like the way it did last week. Your LinkedIn headline still says 3D generalist. Your outreach message still starts with, "Hi, I'm a 3D artist." A furniture brand could look directly at you today and see nothing for them. Positioning is where the niche starts making money. It's the boring, unglamorous work of changing what people see when they find you. Today, I'll show you exactly what changes in the 3 places buyers actually look: your portfolio, your profile, and the first message you sent them. Let me start with an uncomfortable observation. Most 3D portfolios are built for other 3D artists. Wireframe breakdowns, clay renders, node setups, modeled in Blender, textured in Substance, category pages sorted by technique. Other artists love that stuff. I love that stuff. But an artist has never really paid your invoice. The person who pays your invoice is a marketing manager at a company. She opens your portfolio on her phone between 2 meetings, and she's asking one question: has this person worked with other companies like ours? If the answer isn't visible in about 10 seconds, she's gone. Not because your work is bad, but because she couldn't recognize herself in it. That's the whole shift, really. You're not trying to impress artists, you're trying to be recognized by buyers. So here's what that means practically. First, order. Whatever industry you picked leads the page. Your best furniture piece goes on top, even if your technically best render is a spaceship. The spaceship can live further down. Nobody's deleting it. Second, and this one matters more, how you describe the work. Most artists caption a project with what they made. Product animation, 30 seconds, full CGI. Caption it with what it did instead. The product didn't exist yet, the launch date did. These visuals carried the campaign until manufacturing caught up. Same project, completely different signal. The first caption says, "I can render." The second says, "I understand your situation." And in the last video, I told you why that recognition is the entire advantage of niching. This is where it becomes visible. Third, the empty portfolio problem. You might now think, but I picked an industry I haven't worked in yet. I have nothing to show. You don't need a client to make client work. Pick 2 real products from real companies in your target industry and make the visuals they should have made. Spec work you choose yourself, done properly, for exactly the companies you want to reach. A couple of pieces like that will outsell a page of 30 generic renders, because they answer the marketing manager's 10-second question with a yes. Now the fastest fix of the 3, your headline. Go look at your LinkedIn profile right now. If it says something like 3D artist, Blender, hard surface motion, I want you to understand what a buyer reads there. Nothing. That's a list of tools. It's the job ad you're hoping someone writes, not an answer to a problem someone has. Rewrite it as who you help with what. I help furniture brands launch products before photography is possible. Or 3D visuals for skincare brands that are tired of reshoots. One line, buyer language, no software names. I know it feels like bragging or like you're promising too much. It isn't a promise, it's more like a filter. The furniture person stops scrolling, everyone else keeps going. And both of these outcomes are exactly what you want. Same line goes on top of your website, right at the top. If your homepage currently opens with a full screen render and your name, you've built a gallery, and galleries are just for admiring. You want an argument. This is who I help. This is proof. This is how to reach me. And the third place, outreach. The message you send a stranger in your industry. The generalist version, which I've seen hundreds of times, goes something like, "Hi, I'm a 3D artist. I do product visualization. Here's my portfolio. Let me know if you ever need anything." That message asks the client to do all the work. They have to figure out what you'd be useful for. Imagine the project and picture the outcome. They won't. Delete that template. The position version is short and it starts inside their world. Because after the last video, you actually know their world. You've seen their product line. You know their trade fair is in 8 weeks. You noticed their launch only has photography from one angle. So the message should sound a bit more like, saw you're launching the new outdoor line before the spring fair. If the products aren't all ready for photography yet, that gap is exactly what I saw for brands like yours. Here's one example. Their situation. One sentence of what you solve, one relevant piece of proof. Notice you couldn't write that message as a generalist, not because you lack the skill, but because you wouldn't know what to reference. The fluency you build inside one industry is what makes the message writable at all. Positioning and niching aren't two strategies, they're the same one, seen from outside and inside. Quick word on the fear, because it comes back at this stage in a new costume. If my whole portfolio screams furniture, other clients will think I can't do anything else. In over 10 years of running my studio, no client has ever rejected us for looking too experienced in something. The tech firm with a product idea doesn't bounce because your homepage shows mainly chairs. He thinks, these people do real work for real companies. Maybe they'll take mine. Specific positioning makes you look established. Generic positioning makes you look available. Buyers can smell the difference and they pay accordingly. So after this video, 3 things change. The order and the captions in your portfolio. The one line at the top of your profile. And the message you send strangers, which now starts with their situation instead of your job title. None of it needs new renders, except maybe 2 spec projects if you don't have them. Most of it is one honest afternoon of work, which brings up the next uncomfortable question. Once positioned artists start getting responses, what do they charge? In the next video, I'm putting real numbers on the table. Day rates for 3D freelancers around the world. What's low, what's normal, and where you probably sit. Subscribe so you don't miss that one, because almost nobody in this space shares actual numbers. And if you want feedback on your positioning before you send anything, just post it in our free community. Over 2,500 3D freelancers in there. And this stuff is exactly the kind of things we tear apart together. Link is in the description. See you in the next one.